Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be working with the Spellbinders Christmas Boutique from October of last year, 23, and I have die cut out some of the pieces here, the back panel pieces, and I've got a bit more die cutting to do, and I'm just going to kind of speed it up. We'll do the die cutting and then we'll come back together and we will assemble our card. Okay, so we've got most of our die cutting out of the way. I'm just going to kind of push this stuff aside, and I am going to bring in the front panel. And I actually have two of those panels cut out. I'm going to use one on the front where I'm cutting all of the floral and the leaf pieces off of it so that I can just build my house on this. And then the other one, I've left the floral pieces on, and I will put it on the back of my thing. Now I'm bringing in this Lattice Spellbinders embossing folder, and I'm going to emboss this panel so that I can have some texture on it like bricks. I should say bricks in a herringbone pattern is kind of what it looks like. And then I'm going to bring in my Distress Oxide Vintage Photo and just bring in my dauber, and I am going to color this, and I'm going to make this like a brown brick house. And I think it adds some interesting dimension and texture to my house, and I really like how it turns out. So at first you really can't tell what it is until I start adding all the elements, but I just inked it up, and it's going to be a little brown brick house is what I'm shooting for, rather than a boutique. And so now what I'm going to do is just get it laid down on the green card base here that has all the floral elements and everything on there. And I'm just going to get it glued down. I'm just using my Bearly Art glue, and we'll get it positioned on there. I need to move it down just a little bit. I can see a little bit of the green poking out on one side. So I'll get it moved down and straightened up, and then we'll start working on the other elements. So I've got my red door there that I'm moving around, and I'm getting my window pieces. The door has a small window at the bottom and a larger window at the top. There's also a little indentation in it. There is etched marking on there so you know where to put it, but there's also an indentation for a door handle, which I realized I didn't die cut out. I just did the circle elements that are in the flowers, and I didn't cut it for the door handle, but I'll do that later. So I'm getting my windows laid down, and then I've got the windows for the house, and I just used some blue paper, and it does put a little etching in there. And there's kind of an oval etched shape there that shows you how to put your windows down. And there's a nice little etching there, so you can get your windows lined up right there where they anticipate they would go. So I'm just putting some glue in those areas, and I'm getting my windows lined up using those etched markings. And then I'm going to look at my roof, but I think I go ahead and put my door on first and get it laid down. And I'm trying to get, plenty of glue on there because we do have embossed and debossed areas, so I want to make sure it gets stuck really nice. And now it's starting to look like something. Now I want to put some of my pieces down before I put my roof down, because some of these pieces are below the roof area. So I'm going to just start laying some of them down. And I did die cut some other pieces out earlier, and I'm pulling them out of my purple tray there and just getting all the pieces that I have together, and I'm going to use those on my card. Now we'll have lots of assembly there, and I'm not really sure. I'm leaning into it. My arm looked kind of funny there. I don't really know what I was doing, but I actually had sat down in the chair and was trying to work with it, but then eventually I'll stand up and so that I can see over it. But it's funny watching the angle when you look at this. But so anyway, I'm just adding some glue. What I'm doing right now is putting the berries down. And I think I should have probably started with all of the leaves first, because there are some areas where the berries lay on top of the leaves, and I'll have to snip some of the leaves down. But this is how I did it. But you can certainly work around it, because I was able to get all my leaves laid down and everything. Now I've done my little awning for my house in craft cardstock, and I did my fence as well, and you can see those are laying aside there. And then just brought in scraps. These are all of these were scraps from my scrap bin. I think at some point I'll actually show you the scrap bin that I'm just pulling them out of, but I've kind of made up my mind that I am going to use all of the scraps in my scrap bin before I start pulling out fresh pieces of paper, because I've got kind of a scrap bin going again, and I had recently cleaned all that up and had everything either used up or gotten rid of what I didn't want, and now I have built up a stash again of scraps, and so I'm trying to bring in those tiny pieces. And quite honestly, they work quite well with the Scout die cutting machine, so it's a good time to just use all those up. So I'm going to try, and over the next few cards, bust up that scrap bin. Now I was thinking, I started to work on something else and make a video today, and then I thought, wait a minute, I've only got a couple more days of Christmas in July, so I thought I would use this die set here, this older die set, and create another Christmas in July, and then hopefully, let's see, today is the 30th, so I guess this will air tomorrow, so, and that'll be it. I think that'll make me, I think I counted, this will make 19 Christmas cards that I've, or no, 16 Christmas cards that I've done, and 20 Christmas tags and 1 Christmas ornament that I have done in the month of July. I think last year I might have done a little better, because I maybe did a Christmas card every day in July. I'd have to look back and see, but that's not too bad. So I've got a pretty good start on the stash, and I'm probably going to order maybe a Christmas kit of some sort and work through it as well. I haven't done that yet. I know Spellbinders has a real nice one, and Cartabella also has a really nice one that's fairly inexpensive. So I might pick that up and then start making some other cards along the way. But I just thought I'd take this opportunity to make one more Christmas card and to use something old in my stash. And this is really a neat die set, so I feel like I need to use it. And I was kind of having fun digging through my stash of stuff that I have and looking at things and coming up with different ideas. So I encourage you to use what you have and make the most of it, because this stuff, is not cheap, so you want to use as much as you can. Now, today was crazy. I had the boys. They actually came a little bit later because their mom had plans for the day, and so she wanted to sleep in a little bit. But anywho, so I had them, and then I realized at one point that our freezer had gone out, and I was scrambling to get all of the meat and stuff put in where I could, and then to cook the stuff that I needed to that had thawed out. So I cooked up 2 different sets of spaghetti sauce. I did 2 different containers of taco meat, and I put together a meatloaf because the hamburger had pretty much thawed. Some of the other things had not quite thawed yet that I was able to save, but it was crazy. And here I'm trying to cook all this stuff and get it all prepared and taken care of while I've got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old hanging at my feet. So it was crazy day, and I was sweating. I was also having to take stuff from our freezer next door to my parents' freezers, because we had put up a bunch, Pat had put up a bunch of corn and stuff, and so I was trying to get all that stuff moved, and it was just insane. And of course, it's super hot, so I'm lugging all this stuff back and forth and sweating and trying to cook in the kitchen, and so it was a hot mess. It's a miracle I was able to get this card finished and put together at all, but Anyway, so that's kind of what my day was like. Crazy. And my husband wasn't home, and I had phoned him to tell him what was going on, and he said, well, when I get home, I'll go check out another one. And my daughter had said that Lowe's was having a sale, and so when he got home, I told him, and he said no. He goes, I'm going to our appliance dealership that I always use. So he went and did that. And fortunately, they're going to deliver either tomorrow or Thursday. And so hopefully we'll have all of our food situated back in our new freezer. So that prompted him to go out and clean out the area in the garage where the freezer sat. So he's out there working on that. And of course, it's blazing hot. And so I said, I'm going to go in and cool off, and I'm doing this voiceover. So that's what's been going on today. I hope you guys have had a good start to your week and haven't had as much chaos as I've had, but it's all doable. So anyway, so this I think is turning out really nice. And the poinsettia I want to put on last because I like it to hang over my roof. And now I'm going to just use this extra piece that I die cut out and put it on the back just to add some extra stability to the leaves and everything, and just because I had it cut out. I'm actually going to lay it down on a craft cardstock, so I really don't necessarily need it, but I did go ahead and put it down on there and got it all lined up. And then I did take a green marker and just kind of rolled across the edges just so it wouldn't look white from the side or whatever. But I think it gives the house some good dimension. I don't have to pop it up. It'll just have some dimension in the cart. Now this is the little awning piece that I cut out of the craft cardstock, and it's got some really cute etched detail. And I'm going to pop it up so that it, you know, kind of juts out over our front door like awnings of this style do. And we'll just get 3 pieces of foam tape on there. We'll pull it off and get it laid down. And I think we're close. We do have our Christmas trees that we're going to put in pots outside of our windows. And I realized I only die cut one out, so I'll have to bring my die cutting machine in again. And I'm going to die cut out another tree, and I'm going to die cut out some red pots that we'll put our Christmas trees in, and that's what that little die there is. I realized I forgot to do that when I was die cutting everything out. There's lots of little pieces to this, but I think that's what makes it fun. So I've got my red pots and I've got my tree, and I think this is where I realize I need to get one more tree. So I'm going to bring in some green, another piece of scrap, and we'll get it laid down on the die cutting machine and die cut that out. I think that'll take care of all the die cutting that we have to do. There we go. I'm trying to get my dies put up. And I do have a little Noel in silver that I die cut out that's laying off there to the side, and that'll be our sentiment. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the top of these red pots and just stick my Christmas tree down on there. And then I kept all of my ornaments in the die so that I didn't lose all the little pieces. And so that's what the die is laying there at the top of the screen. And I'm going to punch them out. Now, there are mostly circles on this particular die piece, and then there's kind of these oddly shaped ones. And they're just 2 oddly shaped ones, and I think maybe 8 circles in total is what I've got there. And I'm not really sure what those oddly shaped pieces for. I took and looked at the cover sheet. In fact, I think that's what I'm doing right now, and that's why there's a gap. And I really don't see where those fit. So I'm not really sure what those are, unless they're maybe a center to those rosette type flowers or something. I don't know. It could be what those are. But I just used the center that was in those rosettes and just glued them back down in there. So I'm just going to put 4 little red bulbs on each tree, and they're going to lay right in front of our window. And then we'll get them adhered down, and we'll put our picket fence around there. So 4 on this one, and I laid them a little bit higher on these because I realized that the fence is probably going to cover up the balls. So I'm going to lay them a little bit higher. And then just wipe all those little pieces out of the way, and we'll get this glued down. And I couldn't find my reverse tweezers, so I just grabbed some other ones and used them. I don't like them near as well, but I guess I just need to do some more cleaning. And I cleaned like a maniac the other day, but every time I do a project, it seems like I scatter stuff around. So I think they look good, and I've got my little Noel, and I'm going to get these die cut pieces out of the way and bring my fence in. actually, I need a doorknob. And this is where I'm grabbing that little ornament piece and I'm going to just die cut. I'm not even going to run it through all the way because I don't need all of those little circle pieces that that die pulls. I just need one. And I thought a black doorknob would look nice since I've got that black roof. And so I'll just bring in a dab of glue. I cleaned off my tip so that I would just get a tiny little bit of glue and then try to get that laid down on there. And there we go. It looks super cute. So get all those pieces out of the way. And here's our little fence. And there's 2 scored lines on there. You're going to bend one back that you're going to glue onto the back of the card, and then you're going to bend one that's going to make it pop up so that it has some dimension on it. And I first think about using my glue to put it down there, and then I decide to use my tape runner. And then you'll watch, and I'll actually tape it down a little too high. I need to be clear at the bottom of that panel, otherwise my fence is going to be not on the ground. So I'm going to use my pick tool, lift it up, and then just push it down so that my fence is clear down there at the ground level. And I think it looks super cute. And I decided to zoom in a little bit so that you could get a better view of the house while I'm doing this sentiment and just a better view of the card. So I'm popping out a little piece that's in the Noel, and I'm just going to very carefully put some glue down on this and try to lay it down nice and neat. So you see I'm just following the line with my fine tip and just getting some glue down on there. And then we'll just lay it down here on the roof nice and neat. This will be our sentiment, Noel. And we've got our little Christmas house, little brick house. And I think it's super cute. I really like how it turned out. So I'm going to bring in some craft cardstock and I'm going to lay it down on there. I don't use craft cardstock very often for my card base, but I really like it here and I think I need to probably use it a little bit more. So I'm just going to get some good glue down on there and we'll get it laid down on our card base. And I really like how this turned out. It was fun. I know I made one last year, but I think I like this one better. And I think it's the addition of the craft cardstock. So tell me what you think. Do you like it? Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.